White Sox record for futility last year, 41 and 121. The current race rate would put them right at that number, like literally right at it. They are, but give them something to smile about yesterday. There's a lot of talk in the trade deadline. Ryan McMahon's a guy whose name I'm seeing everywhere when people are talking about the Yankees and what they want. Eugenio Suarez is the name, the slugger for the Arizona Cardinals, and they're going to want a load for him. And so, who else would they look at? And one of them, and again, everywhere I'm seeing Ryan McMahon, which, I mean, you'd like to believe you get some really good prospects back, but I don't have any faith in what the Rockies do ever.
Well, they don't have a lot of tradable assets.
So
it's the one.
Yeah, it'd be him.
And it's not, team's not going to give you a top prospect from Ryan McMahon.
All right. So what do? You just hold him and say bleep it?
You kind of are in that situation. If you want to get back some dudes though in the farm system, go for it. But the Rockies are one of those teams that it's easy to say sell, but they don't have anything to sell.
Yeah, which, I mean, you'd think they would. How about Chris Bryant? Wait, nobody wants that? I mean, he was MVP of the World Series, remember? He was really, really, I mean, nobody wants Chris Bryant? What? Justin Verlander pitched yesterday, too. He had a 16-game winless streak, the longest of his career. He was 0-8. Justin Verlander, where the hell is he? You haven't heard about him because he hadn't been winning. He's a Giant. Giants beat the Braves 9-3. The first win for Verlander. He worked 5 innings, gave up a hit, walked 5, didn't give up a run. First win of the season and his first career win for the Giants. He's now made 17 starts this season, and he's 1-8. Now look, wins are overrated. I think the win-loss stat isn't what it used to be, but that's kind of telling, right? I mean, I don't know when you're done. Father Time gets you. He's 40, whatever he is, 41, 42, whatever the number is. But 16 games in a row, you keep rolling them out there, and I'm fine with that because the Giants. And look, sometimes you don't get run support. You look at Paul Skeens' win-loss record, and I don't think that tells the story. One stat line I don't believe tells the story, and certainly not that particular stat line. But a 16-game winless streak was the longest by a Giant starting pitcher in the history of that franchise. Not only just the longest of Verlander's career, and it was in fact double the longest of his career previous. And I don't know if this gets him started, if this was an anomaly. This is just a pause, but he's not the dude that they hoped that they were going to get. Now, maybe if they get big games down the stretch, and they're certainly in that wild card, and hell, everybody's in NL West now. But maybe if you need a big win, I mean, do you trust him, like, because of where he's been, what he's done in the past, or do you say, man, maybe it's done, maybe he's over?
The expectations have changed quickly for Justin Verlander. ERA 4.70 on the season. If you're in a postseason position, if you're able to get to a series, is he starting game 2, game 3? At that point, is not going to be someone that you throw out there first game. You look at the month of July at a 3.80 earned run average, went at least 4 innings in all of his starts. And you're the Giants, you're like, can we at least get that guy? Because it's been rough this month. But you look at just June, and there's 4 starts. I just kind of hope for that. ERA just under 4, get you 4 to 5 innings.
Yeah. Giants are 6 games behind the Dodgers in the West, and they're a game and a half behind the Padres for the final wild card in the National League. And the National League wild card's really, really going to be interesting. The Cubs are relatively comfortable. Phillies are 3 games clear, and then it's the Padres 1.5 games clear of the Giants, 2.5 clear of the Reds, 3.5 clear of the Cardinals. I think the Diamondbacks might even still be in it, but I mean, you just got to climb over everybody, and it's tough. I think the American League's way more cut and dry. Yankees, well, I don't know. The Yankees, Seattle, and Boston right now. Texas and Tampa, a game and a half back, and the Guardians are just 2.5 back. So that's what you're going to start watching now, because we're going to turn here next week into August, and it's going to be the run, and the trade deadline's coming up here in a week. But the Giants are in an interesting spot. And to your point, what do you do with Justin Verlander? Do you trust him in big games because of who he's been, or do you say, well, this is who he is, and that's what I got to go with. Dodgers were in danger of losing another one yesterday, and they just chipped away with 2 outs. They were down to their last out a bunch of times in the 9th inning, loaded the bases, and Freddie Freeman came through with the game winner. They walk off the Twins in a game I don't want to say they needed, but boy, they kind of did. Now they're going on a 3-city road trip. Shohei Ohtani homered for the 5th time in 5 games in the 5th straight game for Los Angeles. The last guy to do that was Aaron Judge. He did it last year, but now he leads the National League in home runs with 37, homered in the 1st inning, and the Dodgers are winners and snap that losing streak, and they're going to go on the road. So, Dodger fan, you can take a breath for a day, but that bullpen again gave away a lead late in the game, and it is something for you to be concerned about. I got to believe the Dodgers are looking for a couple bullpen arms at the deadline as well, because they always
Get
do.
in line.
Well, yeah, but they always seem to find one or two, don't they? I mean, this is a team that, they pull a guy who's sitting in Kansas City, sitting in Toronto, sitting in Pickett, and he ends up getting L.A. and becoming a star in the postseason for him. I mean, it's an annual ritual for them. They'll trade a prospect or two, and I mean, it feels like it works for them. But I agree with you on the get in line thing, because everybody's looking for it. All right, lots to do today. 505-246-0610. Emails come in. Jeff at sportsanimalabq.com. JJ at sportsanimalabq.com. 8 o'clock this morning, we will catch up with New Mexico State's football coach. Tony Sanchez is going to be with us fresh off of Conference USA Media Day. They don't do a poll, but the Aggies in the confidence metric or whatever the hell it was that they did in regards to confidence to get to a bowl game were picked a little bit lower down, but I know Tony feels that league's pretty competitive and there's a ton of parity in that league. We'll get a little bit into what he sees in Conference USA. I got to believe that their quarterback situation, the fact that he brought his quarterback to Media Day makes me believe that competition would be decided going into camp. So, but we'll talk to him about that, and they open the season against Bryant. They get Tulsa, Louisiana Tech, and then New Mexico to get started. Their money game will be in November when they go to Tennessee. So you can get in on that, 505-246-0610. That's the phone number, the phone number of the text line. Emails at Jeff or JJ at sportsanimalabq.com. Adrian's in today, as he always is. We're on ProView Network's YouTube channel. We're on Xfinity Channel 26 throughout the state of New Mexico. You can watch the show. And, of course, on our Facebook page, The OD in the AM. When we come back, a lot of news out of NFL camps, including a former Lobo basketball player who was airlifted with an injury out of practice for the Miami Dolphins. Wait, what? Yes, that happened. We'll tell you what we know about that former Lobo basketball player when we come back. Everybody's chasing a ring, right? So is she, so are you. How do you know what the right engagement ring is? John Thomas Jewelers has you covered, and there is no risk because they have the no regrets engagement ring. John Thomas Jewelers is my jeweler. They've been my jeweler since the second I walked in the door and realized that they were different, not just because of where they are and you got to work to get there, but because of their service, because of their quality, because of their selection, because they have an on-site design center that can create whatever you want. And now with the no regrets engagement ring, it just proves it even further. Look, how do you know she's going to love the ring? You don't. Whether you create one, and they'll help you with that. You'll see it in 3D. They'll have a 3D printed wax preview made before they make it in precious metal, so you'll know exactly what you're getting. But if she wants something different, you've got an entire year to redesign the ring after you propose. There's no penalty, not even on custom-made rings. Plus, their rings come with a free lifetime nationwide warranty. Their diamonds, all hand-selected by John Thomas Jewelers in Antwerp, Belgium, which is the diamond capital of the world. What that means to you is you can't get a higher quality diamond anywhere. It's the no regrets engagement ring. It's exclusively at John Thomas Jewelers. Go by and visit them on the 3rd floor, Lewis University Building, Louisiana, on 1 block south of Manal. It's on Louisiana, 1 block south of Manal, directly to the east of Coronado Mall. See why they've been voted the best jeweler in Albuquerque 5 straight years. And one of America's coolest jewelry stores, it is John Thomas Jewelers, where Albuquerque gets engaged.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Across the state of New Mexico, different journeys will begin. And when their journeys unite, together will become one experience. Our campuses across New Mexico in Portales, Boswell, and Ruidoso come together to provide you the support as one family. We are one family that share one goal, one opportunity at a time. We are one Eastern.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in Autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
I'm David C. Chavis, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
The Yeller Sub, located on 7200 Montgomery Boulevard, serves breakfast all day long along with classic hot and cold.
From under Mike Parsons thing. I'd almost prefer we don't get into that today, but we'll see where that goes. 505-246-0610. You can get in today. Emails Jeff at sportsanimalabq.com and JJ at sportsanimalabq.com. So the headline read, Dolphins offensive lineman transported by helicopter to hospital after suffering an injury in training camp. And you're like, wow, okay, that's kind of gnarly. What happened? And then you read it, and this was yesterday morning this came down. I'm like, wait, I know that name. And it made me just think for a minute. a former Lobo basketball player. And you may remember Baron Matos. There's a guy who came over and it was going to be a big deal, 6'7", didn't pan out. He transferred to South Florida and at 6'7", 334, became an offensive lineman, and he's in Miami Dolphins camp. And he's trying to make that team. Now, I don't know what the injury is. Have you seen anything in regards to this? Is this leg? Is this head? Is this? I mean, do you have any idea? Because it just says he is in the trauma center at Jackson Memorial Hospital, and they didn't say what it was other than he was in stable condition.
That's what the news says.
Yeah, I mean, if you see, so you haven't seen anything else?
No, not with that.
All right. Did you know he was in camp? I kind of remember hearing this. Did you know that he was, he'd changed to football and was in camp and trying to make the team?
Yeah, he was part of the international pathway, got an opportunity, and the Dolphins kept him around. He's played in some preseason games last year, and just an opportunity to try to earn a spot.
Yeah, 6'7". I mean, he was a pretty highly touted basketball player when he came to UNM, and didn't work here. He went to South Florida and walked on to the Bulls football team. He started as a defensive end there. He was a kick blocker on special teams. He moved over to the offensive line. And as JT just said, there's something, they have this international player pathway, and he was part of that. So if we hear something, I mean, certainly I'll let you know what we hear, but I just don't know what the injury is. They haven't put that out, and we'll see. As far as other stuff in camp, I thought the Joe Burrow stuff was interesting. I thought Joe Burrow's comments in regards to what's going on with his team and the holdouts was interesting. He called it disappointing. And, in some respects, I guess you want your leader, and that would be your quarterback, to be on board and protect the franchise. But by the same token, he's the guy in the locker room, and he's got to back his guys. And so I don't know what the right answer is other than the right answer, if that makes any sense, right? What are you seeing? You don't want to throw fuel on the fire when everybody's torching your franchise. But by the same token, you've got the Trey Hendrickson holdout and the Shamar Stewart holdout for Cincinnati. And the Shamar Stewart thing is about language in a rookie contract, and Trey Hendrickson's about money. And it's another year, and this is just kind of a trend for this particular franchise. And so Joe Burrow was asked about it. Quote, obviously disappointing. You like to have all your guys there day one. You try to build that cohesion that I was talking about the other day, but that's not how it usually works out. It's business. The quarterback, he says, and that's how it's gone. I don't know what the right answer is. The right answer. I don't think he went in too deep. Quarterbacks tend to be, some of them, really good at talking and saying nothing, and I appreciate that sometimes. He had to say something, and that's probably the right thing for him to say. It's disappointing, like everybody to be here.
As you mentioned, this is an area where he kind of has to play both sides, but he was so adamant about Jamar Chase, T. Higgins getting paid. He's got to have that same vibe for his guys on the defensive end, because that's going to decide if Cincinnati is going to be any good this season. We know what the offense can do. We know a healthy Joe Burrow could be successful, but he can't stop anybody. He can't get pressure on any opposing quarterbacks. The Bengals are not going to live up to what they've invested in that offense.
Do you think he feels any of that? I mean, he knows that he went to bat for his receivers. The common sentiment was you can't keep them both and pay them both, and they did. And therein lies one of the reasons, not all of it, not totally, but part of the reason why they are in the position they are with Trey Hendrickson, right? And he's got to eat some of that, doesn't he?
Yeah, he understands that that's even more pressure.
Yeah. All right. Did the Chargers drop the powder blues and go back to navy blues and then like yellow? Is that what I'm looking at? There's like a gold design. I'm looking at new uniforms.
No, they have
those are special
like
uniforms.
7 or 8 different combos this year.
I love different uniforms, but there's like a couple that you probably like you don't mess with the pinstripes or the Yankees, right? You don't play with that. I always feel like the powder blues of the Chargers might be the best uniform in all of sport. Like in all of American sport. You got a better one? I always thought the Lakers' home golds, when they were just home golds, were really good. The Pacers kind of owned that in the NBA championships. They wore the golds on the home and the road. All 7 games. Is there a better uniform in all of sport than the powder blues for the Chargers? The white helmets.
It's definitely in the top 5.
I mean, Cowboy fan, you're gonna hate this. I think the blue. I think their dark blues with the silver pants are great uniforms. I love the Cowboy dark blue with the silver pants, silver. I think those are great. Everybody's tweaking with their uniforms, and I'm just scanning through, and I loved the old creamsicle oranges of the Buccaneers as well. All right, elsewhere in the National Football League. Actually, let's do this when we get back. Let's somewhat try to stay on time. And I love this story, and I love where he's going, because Bo Nix, the quarterback of the Denver Broncos, playing for Sean Payton, has reached out to a guy and is having conversations with a guy who had wonderful success under same head coach. What are they talking about? Can it make him better? And why did he reach out? Because I think it's great. We'll do that when we get back. And Bronco fan, I know you're going to be interested in this. Affordable private security. Big deal in this town, big deal at this time. And that's why I trust IPS, International Protective Service. They've been watching my home for years. They come by on a regular basis, like every single day. When I'm gone, they come by even more. They take the garbage cans, roll them to the curb and back on garbage day, pick up newspapers, mail. If there's a package left on your curb or on your porch, they'll pick those up so the porch pirate doesn't get them. And if your alarm goes off, they respond within 7 minutes or less. They catch bad guys as well. They provide standing guards. If you need eyes on your property around the clock, they install alarms and camera systems. And they have a state-of-the-art system that they're monitoring these cameras 24/7. There's eyes on your property 24/7. Property crime's real. The bad guys are out there. Who's watching your home when you're not there? Make sure it's the good guys. Call IPS. I trust them. You can as well. 505-897-2420. 505-897-2420. They're online at ipsglobal.com.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
I might not be in the cage as much anymore. Just like riding a bicycle, I can pick up the fight from where I left off. I'm not some slick-haired outsider posing with borrowed gloves. I grew up here. New Mexico is in my blood. I'm a New Mexican fighting for other New Mexicans. I'm Adam Oki. I'll be your champion in the courtroom.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
I'm a Blaze King customer, and I have been for the last 10 years. Blaze King stoves are very efficient, they're easy to maintain, and they use a lot less wood than you would typically use with a fireplace.
Blaze King, that's a fire.
The heat is on when it's a Blaze King wood stove, controlling heat up to 40 hours on a single load of wood with a built-in thermostat. See for yourself at either Blaze King showroom, Albuquerque and Santa Fe. Blaze King, and now that's a fire.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
We've been trained, conditioned, and rewarded for doing more. But people weren't designed for all that doing. Our bodies need to settle into nothing from time to time. Into nothing at all. In a world obsessed with doing more, we invite you to undo.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Across the state of New Mexico, different journeys will begin. And when their journeys unite, together will become one experience. Our campuses across New Mexico in Portales, Boswell, and Ruidoso come together to provide you the support as one family. We are one family that share one goal, one opportunity at a time. We are One Eastern.
Eagle Greens and Turf are a family-owned and operated business with over 25 years of experience in the home improvement industry. They are your exclusive dealer of Celebrity Green synthetic putting greens and artificial turf. They also have artificial turf that is specifically designed for your pets. Eagle Greens and Turf are proud sponsors of ProV Networks and can make your lawn green all year long at 505-273-2744.
Like it. I'm going to do whatever I need to do to get better. It's the opening drive, Jefferson Vietta, J.J. Buck. I will do that. So will Bo Nix, the quarterback of the Denver Broncos. And his head coach, who also won a Super Bowl, Sean Payton, with a quarterback who was considered an all-time great, the guy who's got more yards, I believe, than anybody else, a 13-time Pro Bowler, who spent 15 of his 20 NFL seasons running Sean Payton's offense, a guy named Drew Brees. Bo Nix has spent time with Drew Brees. He spent a week visiting with Drew Brees. According to the coach, Sean Payton said, look, Nix is someone who works his tails off, wants to improve. He's gone and visited Brees for 4 or 5 days. There's a lot he wants to absorb in a fast period of time. And that's a great thing for a young player like that. I can't tell you how much I love that. You got an asset like that, reach out and go get it. I love it.
This is what you want from a young quarterback, putting in that extra time throughout the offseason, and for Sean Payton knowing that Bo Nix went out of his way to do that. That's what he's looking for, man. Sean Payton is a grinder on quarterbacks, had a unbelievable career working with Drew Brees, and you can see some similarities in terms of how Brees and Nix operate in terms of style, placement, where they can put the football downfield. And if you're Bo Nix and you know the relationship that Brees has with Peyton, and he's willing to hang out with him for a couple days, ding, ding, ding. Like, that is an awesome offseason.
100%. Bo Nix started every game of his rookie year. Broncos had the longest playoff drought of any team in the NFL. It was snapped last year when they got a wild card spot. They lost the wild card round to Buffalo. He's going to hang out with a guy who led the league in passing 7 times, 5 5,000-yard seasons, which is a record. One of only 2 quarterbacks in the history, along with Tom Brady, to top 80,000 passing yards. Yes, is the answer. And so we reached out and spent time and did the right thing and researched and absorbed and talked and whatever they did, man. I don't care if they just sat around and smoked cigars and he learned by osmosis. I don't care. Now it's up to him to get better, and I believe he will. Bo Nix said earlier in the offseason that he discovered as a rookie it's hard to work on the mechanics of the position during the season, right? Because it's game prep, man. You spend Monday working on your body, you take a day off, and then you're into the next game. And then sometimes there's short weeks and everything else because you're preparing for a specific opponent each week. So as far as working on the mechanics, he said he wanted to use the offseason throughout his career as efficiently as possible and work on getting better. You know, I always wonder about that. They say we got practice every day. And camp is so different, right? What you're doing, what they're doing now, what they're theoretically we're doing in the offseason is so different than what they're going to do once game week starts. How often do you practice? No, we're working on game plans. We're not working on fundamentals at that point. Yeah, we're stretching. We're going through a few drills, passing drills, and whatever. But the whole attitude there, and there's a maturity, and look, everybody's got your own personality. Some guys will mature much more than others. But he came into the league as a 24-year-old rookie. And I'm not telling you, because Jaden Daniels was what? He did 3 years in college? Jaden Daniels is probably 21.
Jaden Daniels did like 5 years in college.
Yeah, I guess that's right. Yeah. I think there's a difference to being an older rookie than being a younger guy. And I think the NFL, while there's been challenges to it, and why don't they allow these young guys in and
they're both 24, by the way.
Isn't Bo Nix 25?
Well, Jaden Daniels is 24, Bo Nix is 25.
Yeah, Bo Nix was 24 last year, and then he turned 25 in February. But I think there's an advantage to having an older, more mature quarterback.
Yes, and it just comes down to games played, too. If you get that in, and you're 22, and you're really able to take that step, go for it. But what has changed is, if feels like now, and I would have to take some time to look at it, but the window that quarterbacks get is smaller than ever. Because it used to be, all right, we'll get this guy who has a high ceiling. It's the NBA mentality. Get the young guy in and we'll grow. You don't have that time. We've seen franchises not just fire coaches after one season or middle of their first season, but dump quarterbacks after 1 year. And so you don't have development time at the NFL level. No one is waiting around for you to learn how to play quarterback if they feel like you have to start from really far behind. And so what we've seen is a shift in mindset to, hey, we need a guy in here that, yeah, he can have a ceiling, but he can come in and play relatively early, and we don't have to sit there and go, oh, this is going to be a 2 or 3 year process, because no one is doing that in the NFL anymore. And they're not scared of quote unquote old guys that are 24 years old coming into the NFL, because we're seeing quarterbacks play until they're 40.
Especially that position more than anything else in American sports. You can develop a receiver, you can even develop an edge rusher. No, you're right. And that leads right into where I was going next with Anthony Richardson. What'd you say? I want a guy who's played football, who's played games, right? What did he play? 19 complete games in high school and college in his life? And people are wondering why he doesn't know how to play quarterback. He's an unbelievable athlete. I believe he was younger when he was drafted, correct? He had played almost no football. Now, look, we just did a story on Baron Matos, who was a basketball player who didn't have a ton of football under his belt. Again, quarterback is different than any position in American sports. You can teach a guy to be a lineman, man. You can teach a guy to run routes. We've watched track stars become receivers. You can teach a guy to be a cornerback or a safety. And yeah, eventually, can you teach a guy to be quarterback? Yeah, but to your point, nobody's got that time. Nobody's got that patience to watch a guy learn how to play position at the National Football League level. You can learn how to play offensive line, but not that position. Carly Ursay-Gordon is now the owner of the Colts. And Carly said about Anthony Richardson that they're not giving up on him. Quote, where he is in his career and in his deal as a rookie, we still have time. He still has time to prove it. Okay. They said Daniel Jones is brought in and bringing a sense of urgency. Nothing brings a sense of urgency more than competition. Okay. All that's great. And good move by them to bring in Daniel Jones if you think he's the answer. Their head coach is Shane Steichen, who will not put a date on when he's going to name a starting quarterback. But it plays in perfectly to where you were going, man. The patience on this. They used the number 5 overall pick on a guy that, what was the word you used? Ceiling, right? There was a ceiling, but the floor was incredibly low. A dude who has crazy athleticism.
You had a lot. Not even a foundation, just a lot.
A lot of.
For Anthony Richardson. Like his lot. You didn't have a foundation on that lot. You're like,
Oh,
boom,
I see what,
here's
yeah,
a
yeah,
plot
yeah,
of
yeah,
land.
yeah.
And you think you're going to be able to develop in the NFL?
That's what I'm saying.
Like, everyone pointed to Josh Allen. Josh Allen played football in college. like,
The instincts, the know-how, the been there. Yeah.
He started games in college and played a lot of football.
He played in high school. He played in junior college. Yes, he played football. There's something. Why do you think parents start these kids at 8 years old, right, playing a game? When you get to a point and you say, wow, what a great baseball IQ or basketball IQ. Yeah, because the kids played 1 million games. Anthony Richardson, and there's part of me, I don't know him at all. I really don't even know that I think I know his personality. But I do know that I think I feel bad for him. Why, Jeff? Dude, he got paid millions. He was a 5th-round pick. I get it. And I believe he was set up to fail. And I feel bad when people are put in positions for which they are not equipped and they are set up to fail. Now, what would have been the right way for him? I don't know. The right way would have been for him to start earlier and for him to go into a situation where he was not required to be the savior of a franchise. The kind of old school way. What if he came in like Jordan Love? And again, Jordan Love played football. Jordan Love played football his whole life. Well, where's he going to get the experience, Jeff? He's not going to learn sitting on the bench. You're probably right. So he sits behind an Aaron Rodgers, and then he spends the summer playing in the UFL or something and learning how to play quarterback and playing the position. Is he going to learn more sitting in a room with Aaron Rodgers? Probably. Is he going to learn more playing some games in the UFL? Yeah, probably. That would have probably been the best route for him. I mean, because if you're going to say he was, and I am, he's going to have been put in a bad position, then what would have been the right way for him to come in? Because he is a talent. Does UFL make sense? But you can't send a number 5 overall pick to the UFL. I mean, baseball, you send a guy to the minors.
Well, if there's not would it make sense? Yes, if there was a willingness by the NFL to want to do something like that.
Then what was the path for him? Because I just feel like he was set up to fail.
The path changed because he missed time.
Right.
Like, it was, they're going to keep you out there on the field. You're going to get to play, but then he got hurt, and then all bets are off.
What if he would have been a 3rd-round pick? Like Tyler Shuck was, what, a 2nd or 3rd? What was he, 2nd?
2nd round pick.
And he's the new quarterback, or going to be, I think, for the New Orleans Saints. Tyler Shuck played at Louisville. I don't think the world outside of New Orleans and Kellen Moore is expecting a whole lot out of Tyler Shuck. So he can only exceed expectations. It wouldn't be.
Dude, he was one of those dudes in the 2nd round that got a fully guaranteed contract.
Yeah, he did. No, he did. And look, he put up great numbers at Louisville. And there's been guys in the 2nd round that have been good quarterbacks. Jalen Hurts. I'm pretty sure he won the Super Bowl last year. I don't know what the path could have been for this guy. I just feel, in a large respect, he was set up to fail. But I don't know what else you could have done other than draft him lower, which wouldn't have behooved him because somebody else was going to take him. And how much time do they have? I mean, they still got a couple of years left on his rookie deal, so they'll run that out. Tony Sanchez is going to be with us coming up at 8 o'clock in the morning. I'll talk to him a little bit about that as well, quarterbacks, because he's got a quarterback now who's played a lot of football. What experience means. I think that's a fair question for the Aggie coach, bringing in after what he went through last year with the quarterback carousel. That's coming up at 8 o'clock right here on The Sports Animal. Planning an event, thinking about an event, going to an event, the Albuquerque Convention Center specializes in putting on great events, taking care of your people, no matter how big or small your meetings or your conventions might be, from private meetings and small gatherings to large expos and conferences and celebrations. The team across the street from us over here at the Albuquerque Convention Center downtown Has catering options and everything that goes above and beyond expectations. Right in the heart of downtown. Albuquerque Convention Center has the space, has the flexibility that will bring your event to life. So while you're looking for that ideal event, and we do every year at the Isleta New Mexico Bowl, we trust the Albuquerque Convention Center. We brought teams there every year that we've been doing this. We're going on 20 years now. Why? Why do we keep going back? Because they take care of our guests the way we need our guests to be taken care of. Versatile spaces, parking adjacent to the facility, easy access in and out, stunning local art on the walls everywhere, mouth-watering food and drink options. Your guests are going to be impressed at every turn. So while you're planning an event, holiday party, whatever it is, think of the Albuquerque Convention Center and then reach out. AlbuquerqueCC.com has all their information. It's AlbuquerqueCC.com, or call them at 505-768-4575. Area code 505-768-4575. It's the Albuquerque Convention Center. Be at the center of it all.
This report is sponsored by
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit HansWhitlerAuto.com. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. High school sports are back. You can watch every ProView Network broadcast online on the NFHS network. Every moment from every game from every sport, including all NMAA state championship games. Get your monthly pass now. Just go to ProViewNetworks.com, click on the NFHS logo, and sign up today. Watch New Mexico's best.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Got shots? Got shots? Got shots?
During Got Shots, participating providers open their doors for any child who presents for immunizations, regardless of whether they are a patient or whether they have insurance.
The Yeller Sub, located on 7200 Montgomery Boulevard, serves breakfast all day long along with classic hot and cold subs. Don't forget about our shakes, malts and floats made with your favorite Bluebell ice cream. 45 years and still going strong. Come on down to the Yeller Sub, official sandwich of ProView Networks.
Eagle Greens and Turf are a family-owned and operated business with over 25 years of experience in the home improvement industry. They are your exclusive dealer of Celebrity Green synthetic putting greens and artificial turf. They also have artificial turf that is specifically designed for your pets. Eagle Greens and Turf are proud sponsors of ProV Networks and can make your lawn green all year long at 505-273-2744.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS.
Seen this yet? This is pretty significant. It depending on how serious it is. Justin Fields carted off the practice field at Jets camp this morning. He dropped to the ground. He threw an interception. He hopped to the sideline. The trainer nearby, the New York Post, and Adam Schefter reporting this. Spent about 10 minutes on the trainer's table, had his shoe off. His lower leg was being examined. The general manager and a team doctor had a discussion. He was loaded onto a cart and taken to the locker room. Justin Fields signed a 2-year, $40 million contract to be their starting quarterback. Tyrod Taylor is the backup there. They have Adrian Martinez and Brady Cook also on that roster. But Justin Fields carted off the field. This is the first major injury of camp, right? And we're 2 days in. That changes kind of everything, doesn't it, for them? Not that you thought that they were going to be a contender, but you look at them and you say, well, I mean, Garrett Wilson's there, Breece Hall's there. They have a decent defense, brand new coach, brand new attitude. You think something's going to happen, and if this is significant, and I mean the way it's being said is, it sounds relatively significant. That's a big deal.
It's a gigantic deal. Starting quarterback of the New York Jets. And people, not just in New York, but you take a step back and say, all right, can they be competitive? Can they make it work with Justin Fields? Just signed Garrett Wilson. You still have Breece Hall there, an offense that was going to be specifically designed around his skill set, so you can try to be competitive, find some consistency on that side of the football. And that's huge, losing your starting quarterback.
If in fact he's out for a long time. So I'll update you on that if they release anything more as to the extremity of what that is. The Dolphins did release an update this morning on the former Lobo basketball player, Baron Matos, who is an offensive lineman who was airlifted to the hospital from practice yesterday. This from the Dolphins. Baron Matos sustained an injury at the end of Wednesday's practice and was transported to Ryder Trauma Center at Jackson Memorial Hospital, where he remained overnight for evaluation and testing. He has movement in all extremities and is in stable condition. He will remain in the care of doctors for continued observation. That is a statement from them. What that says, without saying it, JJ, is that was some sort of a spinal kind of a thing. If they're reporting that he's got movement in all extremities, it leads you to believe, and this is where I understand them not putting out the exacts on injuries, but all it does is lead to speculation. And you have to read into, when you care about the individual, like you do in this situation, and I think hopefully all situations. But then it just leads you to read between the lines, right? And when they're telling you he has movement in all his extremities, that leads you to believe it was some sort of a head or neck or spine injury, correct?
Yes.
I don't know where else you go with that. So we'll watch this, but Justin Fields carted off the field at camp for the New York Jets today. And when camps open like this, dude, you literally got to hit the Twitter every break. You know what I mean? Because it feels like stuff is just happening on a regular basis. But this is everywhere's got it now. It's out everywhere. Carted off the field does not sound good. Now look, it could be an injury that takes him 2 weeks to get back, and he could be ready for the opener. I mean, whatever. I don't want to speculate it. I'm just gonna report to you. We are 1 week from today getting football. 1 week from today, you get Chargers and Lions at the Hall of Fame game. Next Thursday is when it all starts. So, I mean, that's how close you are to that. 505-246-0610. Your emails come in, Jeff at sportsanimalabq.com. and JJ at sportsanimalab.com. I don't know who this is, but I believe it to be the same number that always rips on Tony Sanchez and anything that is Aggie, which is fine. But Tony Sanchez is going to be with us in a few minutes, the Aggie football coach. And he said, "I might." This is from the Aggie hater. I might be 23-49. It can't beat UNM, but look out, damn it! I'm about to figure this whole thing out anytime now. Thanks, love, Tony. Okay, gotcha. Let's see if he says that. I'm not sure he will, but I mean, we're good. We'll get into your other correspondence as well. I got one on women's basketball scheduling, volleyball scheduling. I got one on Liv, so we'll get there as well. We got to get into Lee Westwood and the Liv comments as well at some point, and the world points. But the breaking news this morning: Justin Fields, the Jets quarterback, carted off the field with a lower leg injury at Jets camp this morning. When we return, Aggie football coach Tony Sanchez will be with us. Aggies open up against Bryant. They just returned from Media Day in Frisco, Texas. We'll catch up with the head man for Aggie football next. It's the opening drive. Jeff Symbieta, JJ Buck on 95.9 FM and AM 610, The Sports Animal.
Provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gallus Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66. Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
Across the state of New Mexico, different journeys will begin. And when their journeys unite, together will become one experience. Our campuses across New Mexico in Portales, Roswell, and Ruidoso come together to provide you the support as one family. We are one family that share one goal, one opportunity at a time. We are One Eastern.
I'm a Blaze King customer, and I have been for the last 10 years. Blaze King stoves are very efficient, they're easy to maintain, and they use a lot less wood than you would typically use with a fireplace.
Blaze King, that's a fire.
The heat is on when it's a Blaze King wood stove, controlling heat up to 40 hours on a single load of wood with a built-in thermostat. See for yourself at either Blaze King showroom, Albuquerque and Santa Fe. Blaze King, and now that's a fire.
I'm David C. Chavis, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number 1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sports shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. Turbo Threads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for Turbo Threads.
Eagle Greens and Turf are a family-owned and operated business with over 25 years of experience in the home improvement industry. They are your exclusive dealer of Celebrity Green synthetic putting greens and artificial turf. They also have artificial turf that is specifically designed for your pets. Eagle Greens and Turf are proud sponsors of ProView Networks and can make your lawn green all year long at 505-273-2744.
Across the state of New Mexico, different journeys will begin. And when their
Cowherd, Jim Rome, and the best in local sports talk. Now it's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the sports animal. Here's Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck.
We're about 5 weeks away from opening the college football season. Media days are continuing. Conference USA Media Day just wrapped up. I think the MAC starts today. We've got the Big Ten and ACC this week. It's talking season, I imagine, and there's a whole lot of it. And there's some really interesting stuff that's being said. It's the opening drive. Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck. Thanks for finding us on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal. New Mexico State was represented at Conference USA Media Days in Frisco, Texas, and back at it. And they're going to open up practice and get ready to open up the season against Bryant and then Tulsa. He's in their second year as his head coach at his alma mater. Tony Sanchez joins us this morning on the Sports Animal. Good morning, Tony. How you living?
I'm doing good, man. How you doing?
Life's grooving. I appreciate you. How was Media Day? Because it's an interesting time always when it always feels like someone's leaving, right? And so you had two teams. Louisiana Tech had just announced that they're leaving. It's UTEP's last Media Day. You got new ones in Delaware and Missouri State. Or was it different, or was it just another session with different faces?
Honestly, it was just another session. I mean, everybody's still there. I mean, Louisiana Tech's here for a year. Next year they'll be gone. UTEP's still there. The following year they'll be gone. And other teams are coming on in. And, heck, it wasn't too long ago where we were an independent, So there's a lot of ebb and flow in college football. It's just one of those things, whether it's who's in your conference, who's on your roster, how we're paying guys. I mean, the amount of the change is rapid and it's constant. So it's just one of those, you just roll with it.
I'm going to get into your football team a little bit. I know you believe you've got a lot of talent. There's a lot of new. And I want to start at quarterback because we've been talking about quarterback a lot this morning, and kind of in the NFL stuff. And quarterback is the most unique position in American sports. And I think one of the keys is has a guy played? Having a guy with experience. And we've been talking about the NFL level. Why was Bo Nix so successful in his first year? He played a lot of quarterback. Well, you got a guy in Logan Fife, and I'm going to guess he's your guy because you took him to Media Day. Played a lot of quarterback. He's been at Fresno State. He started all 14 games at Montana last year. Talk about him a little bit. And is that true? A guy that's played and obviously played well, has talent, but to be a leader at that position?
Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, and at the end of the day, what you're finding out now that we've been through this, deal a couple years in a row with the portal and all that stuff is you just can't put a price tag on guys that have played. I mean, there's a lot of things you can look at, and guys that come down from, the Power 4 schools or guys that make moves that were backups and such, and some of them just don't make that much of an impact. The guys that played, and I don't care if they played at 1AA, I don't care if they played Division II, if they're guys that are, making moves down that actually play. I mean, you got to see game film. Practice film doesn't really show anything, and there's a reason why guys don't play. So, having a guy that's played as many games as he has, who had, good 7 starts under his belt at Fresno, has starts under his belt over, Montana, won a bunch of football games. He's been knocked on his tail. He's brought a team back from behind. I mean, you see those things, and you get to work with him in the spring. It kind of confirms it. So we're excited about him. Obviously, a lot of work still to do, and you want to create culture of competition, which we'll always have, so he's going to have to stay sharp. But we love what we saw in the spring, and it just kind of confirms everything we saw in the game film. So having a guy that, game one, when he gets under center, it's not his first time under the lights. It's not his first time leading a group of men. It's not his first time doing a lot of things. It's not his first time winning as a starting quarterback. So we're excited to have that, and I think it'll make a big difference.
I think he's been looking for a chance. He played behind some really good quarterbacks. At Fresno State, he played behind a pro in Jake Haener. He played behind Mikey Keene, who's now at Michigan. He got his opportunity last year. What kind of player is he? He's not a huge quarterback at 6 feet, but when we've seen him, and I know Lobo fans have seen him against New Mexico, I think Aggie fans have seen him. I think he's a guy that can do kind of everything for you, can he?
You really can, and again, you talk, one of the great things if you sit down and you talk with Logan and you talk about his college experience, he's really honest talking about, his time, coming in out of high school, sitting behind Hainer, waiting for his chance, and he said, it's tough, and then, you get, Keeney that comes on over, and he said there was a heck of a battle and kind of got edged out, and he just like, it's just like, wow, okay, it's, but every time he got a chance and got the nod to play, he played well, and like I said, he won some games for Fresno State and did well, and, did good last year, so he just got a humble approach and a real honest approach. There's no BS with him. He's really honest about it, which is big. But as far as stature, we won a bunch of games a couple years ago with a guy that's not even 6 foot, So it's really about your intangibles, the way you see the field, the way you deliver the ball on time, communicate, getting us out of a bad situation into a better one, and that's where the experience comes in. So he's definitely a throw-first guy, but his feet allow him to go ahead and extend plays, and do some really good things. We're not going to ask him to be an overwhelming runner of the football, but he's good enough and athletic enough to keep the defense honest. If you forget about that, he'll go get some, easy yards for us. So we love the things that we see, but, the biggest thing is, keep him healthy and make sure we develop the guys behind him.
Coach, you mentioned when you look at players that have experience and you see what they're able to do at the college level versus guys that haven't been playing, how do you look at that? Do you go back to high school tape? Do you try to talk to people to evaluate what that player's ceiling could be? What do you do in recruiting with players that haven't played a lot but are in the portal and could be an opportunity for you?
Yeah, it's one of those interesting deals where we really try to, find guys that have had a chance to play a little bit. If you weren't a starter on the Big Four and special teams and maybe rotated in and out once in a while at a bigger school, then who knows if you'll even make a difference at a place like this. We've taken some guys from some big schools that just haven't done much. We've played against other teams that bring guys in preseason. There's a lot of, they're coming from this big school, this big brand, and they just don't do much. But, then you get other guys that come on in that, come in from smaller places, and they just, they make an immediate impact. They do a great job. So JUCO guys obviously have played, last year, so you get to see that right away. The high school kids are still evaluating those guys the same, but, bringing guys in, again, you're talking, we've been talking about Logan, but it's the same thing. It's like we didn't have to guess. Last year there were some guys we brought in from some bigger schools who had bigger logos, and the transition wasn't easy for them. But you get a guy like a defensive tackle like Cole Shinovsky, right? And he came from a Division II school, and he ended up starting the first 3 games last year, broke his ankle. He'll be back this year, but he ended up. He's an all-conference quality type guy, and he just played a ton of snaps. We got another guy named Bradley Vaselli who started a defensive end for us. He's a big, 6'4", 235-pound guy, long arms. He's a really good player. He comes from a 1AA school, so you get some of these guys and they've played, they've been productive, and it's you want proof in the pudding. As much as you can. Now, don't get me wrong, you're gonna have to take some chances on guys. But when you've seen guys, that have played and been successful, you got a better chance. We got Tyler King. He comes over from Wyoming, and you're watching game film on him. He's returning kickoffs for touchdowns. He's catching touchdown passes. He's doing it, and he's doing it in real time in the Mountain West. So you get a guy like that, you feel a whole lot more comfortable than you do bringing a guy coming down from, let's say, a Big Ten school or an SEC school that just really hasn't caught any balls.
Tony Sanchez, New Mexico State's football coach, is with us on the Sports Animal.
And with that, too, just player development overall, what's it like as a college coach where you are bringing in players with that much experience that have multiple years under their belt, and at the same time you're bringing in kids right out of high school, and this is their first experience in college, being able to manage the expectations across the roster and develop players, but then also have the mindset of you need guys that can play right away?
Yeah, I think the plight, and I don't know if it's a plight, it just is what it is, but I think if you're at a school like ours, right, and when I say ours, I'm talking about everybody that's not in the Power Four. If you have a good year, you're going to lose some guys, and it is what it is. We had a meeting yesterday going into the season about, okay, who are the guys that are potentially, who would have a chance to move on, that people would want to come take at the end of the year. Because when you're recruiting, it's not like it used to be where, we're going to bring in this many guys this year, this many at this position, this many high school, this many. You just don't know because there's so many things that are going to change, right? So I think one of the deals is number one, you got to win, and you got to win now. When you lose older players, you don't really have time to go replace them with a bunch of young guys that'll be ready in 3 years. You don't have that luxury, right? So the development's completely different. Number one is a lot of high school kids come in early, so you get them in the January time frame. I'd say at least 50%, if not more, right? So you're getting them ready a whole lot faster. The entire team shows up now, June 1. June 1, everybody's on campus, and they're on campus for the rest of the summer. There's no more, August, and you bring everybody in, and you're moving kids in. I mean, those days are done. I mean, your kids are in for a lot longer. So, biggest thing is, you do a lot more football, a lot more walkthroughs, a lot more, making them, ready, familiar with playbooks and, offense, defense, special teams, everything that we need to do around here. So when we get into camp, we're rolling, we've got 2 weeks to get ready, to get through camp. And then on that third week after practice 15, we're working on Bryant right away. So, yeah, the development happens a little differently. And my understanding is it'll probably even change a little bit more next summer with practices possibly in May and June, right? Changing spring ball around more like OTAs. So, yeah, I mean, it is beneficial to have, guys who have experience and that are a little bit more mature, and then those younger guys, you try to bring them on a whole lot faster than you used to.
Tony, I didn't expect to completely go on recruiting on this, but I like where we're going on this. The conversation lends me to this, and maybe your thought process has evolved. And you mentioned guys coming in from big schools as opposed to, smaller schools or 1AA, as you said, or FCS. There's a philosophy out there for schools that are not Power 4 schools that, I want a guy that's on his way up, that this is the best place he's ever been, that he appreciates what we have as opposed to gripes about what we don't. I'd rather have a guy from, for instance, your quarterback's coming in from Montana as opposed to a guy coming down from pick your Power 5 school where they had everything.